Today I'm going to be explaining a level inside of the Backrooms that genuinely might be worse than level you cheated somehow. The place in question is level 959, also known as Now You Know. You're going to want to sit back and relax while I explain this level, because now that you know it exists, you're going to get sent to it. Yay! Leave a like and subscribe if you end up enjoying this video, and make sure to stick around on the channel for more content like this. And without further ado, let's get into the explanation of level Now You Know, shall we? The 959th level inside of the Backrooms is of course known as Now You Know. It has been given a classification of a dead zone rating, and right above that rating here on the page, there is a quote that says, "Curiosity kills the cat." Now this is one of those very interesting level cases where you knowing that the level exists pretty much means that you're gonna get sent to it. It's a cognito hazard, and I'll discuss that as we go on through the video. Just know that that's how this level operates. Below the rating is a notice that everybody apparently has to read, like that's what the page says, so I'm just gonna go ahead and read it to you right now. Quote, "This level possesses an information hazard dubbed non-pentenism, which initiates once one acknowledges the existence of level 959. Non-pentenism can begin through viewing any piece of information related to the level, such as the level number, the level name, the page, any photograph of it, any documented entrances and exits, and more. Due to the extreme danger that this effect poses, level 959 and any mentions of it have been redacted from the entire database. For more information, read the page below." So quickly, just with that quote said, you're gonna get sent here due to an effect that they're calling non-pentenism, and that's how this goes on. So, but now that you know that, I can tell you what the level looks like. Level 959 has only been documented from a select few number of people who have somehow managed to make it out alive. From those poor souls, we now know that the level is a series of very outdated office spaces covered in carpet with a pretty uniform design. Where have we heard that? Like every other level sounds like that, but this one is in particular unique because the walls are a very dull yellow color, like every other level. But the one unique thing, and jokes aside, is that the carpet here is a deep red. The level is comprised of different rooms, and that's literally it. There's not big corridors or hallways like the other levels that I was just making fun of. Instead, here in this level, you'll just be walking from room to room. The lighting in this level comes from the same spot in each individual section, and that would be the middle of the ceiling, because in the middle of each room, there's a dingy lighting fixture that really barely produces any light. It's kind of useless. So all you can see beyond each room's entrance and exit is darkness, because the lights don't reach all the way to the different door frames. Connecting each different room is a small staircase or small edifice that you have to walk through, and like I said, they are pitch black, and this can lead to a pretty disturbing sequence of events for you, because you don't know where you walk and you don't know where you've already been. It's impossible to map out, yada yada yada. The rooms themselves are extremely cramped and extremely claustrophobic. Ceilings are low hanging, and often the width of the rooms is so small, some people have to cramp themselves in to even walk through. And if you're very tall, you have to squat down when you walk through anything. So this whole thing feels like a cage, a jail cell, if you will. Now, there are 2 floors to level 959 that make up the entire level. It is not infinite, and it is not generating like a lot of other places are. And to access the second floor, you're gonna have to go up a staircase from one of the random rooms that you go into to lead up there. Now, the difference between floor 1 and floor 2 is that floor 2 doesn't have any light. There's not any light at all. Even though level 1 barely has any, it's still something. Up here, it's just pitch black. You'll also notice that on floor 2, some of the rooms don't have a ceiling. They just lead to the void, and others have gigantic pitfalls that you can fall directly into, and the second floor is just not very fun. Do not go up there if you can avoid it. Level 959 as a whole has no air circulation, which means that the entire place is hot, it's stuffy, it's humid, and if you walk around too much and start freaking out and start over breathing, you're probably gonna hyperventilate and pass out, which, spoiler Spoiler alert, that's what the level wants. An interesting little fact about the walls here in this level is not only are they disgusting honey mustard yellow color, they're also sticky to the touch. On top of that, they smell like they're constantly burning or are on fire, but there's no visible fire that would cause the smell. That burning smell just permeates through the entire level somehow. Now, this far in the video, you're probably thinking to yourself, this is not bad. It sounds like every other just average Backrooms level. You're probably just thinking it's just an average cramped office. There's tons of those, right? But as always, there is something else that you need to know about this place. And it relates to that effect that I mentioned at the beginning called non-penitism, which that's not a real thing. Like, there's no results for it on Google. It's made up for the level. But let me explain what it means and its dangers. Essentially, non-penitism is an info hazard, which means that any acknowledgement of the level, no matter how big, no matter how small, by you, will cause this info hazard to infect your brain. If you hear about the level, or read it, or even say its level number, you'll begin to slowly develop an addiction to trying to enter the level. You pretty much will feel insanely compelled to go here. Now, this isn't your brain being all messed up. This is your mind, your body, your soul, only desiring to come to this level. Your needs for food and water, they go away. You don't feel like you need to do that anymore. All you want to do is come to level 959. And it doesn't really matter how far away you are from it, because you have to come here. That's literally all your body craves. And if you don't make it fast enough, the level will eventually just cause you to no-clip to it wherever you're at. Once this happens, once you're stuck in level 959, a 5-day cycle begins. And this is essentially the cycle that you're going to want to avoid, because it doesn't sound very fun. Now, the level page has this handy-dandy little graph on there that shows stage 2, 3, 4, and 5 of this infection, but pretty much on stage 2, your eyesight's gonna become bad, you're gonna start hearing things, you're gonna start seeing things, and your organs are gonna begin to shut down. This takes place in the first day or two of the effects happening. Stage 3 and 4, of course, get slightly worse, with your cognition deteriorating even more, and you begin to become dumber. Your IQ is gonna drop, your memory's gonna go away, you're gonna stop being able to rationally think, and as we get into stage 4, even further cognition deteriorates, and you'll begin to get really weak, your bones will start to crumble inside of your skin, your blood will stop pumping, and that eventually leads to stage 5, which is total organ failure and you no longer being alive. All of this happens within a few days of seeing this info hazard. Seeing any information about the level at all will cause these stages to happen. And that right there is why the level has been given a class dead zone rating, if you can't tell. Quote, roughly 1 in 30 individuals plagued with non-penitism are deemed long haulers, in which either the stages of the info hazard take course over several months instead of 1 week, or stage progress and halts at the 2nd or 3rd stage, end quote. Now, what that means is that some people that encounter the info hazard, that read any information about level 959 or whatever, some of them can last longer, but really that just means they're gonna suffer. Whatever the case is, this level seems to have the desire to consume human souls and lives, and to force people to come here and be inside of it, no matter how far away they are, and it seems like the level just wants people's corpses and the fibers of its carpet or something. I don't know. Now, this cognito hazard affects humans, obviously, but it also works on facelings or any other entity with a similar IQ to that of a person, which, as you know, in the Backrooms, there are other creatures that kind of have human level intelligence. The same thing works for them. If they read this level's name, if they hear about it from anybody, they will be consumed with the non-penitism, and it'll start to take them over. Another important thing about the inside of these cramped office rooms is that isolation properties exist in level 959 too. If you're in these rooms, you can't see or sense other wanderers also being in the level, like you can't interact, but sometimes, rarely, 2 wanderers can phase through each other. And when this happens, you'll know that it happens, but you won't necessarily be able to interact with it. You might be able to hear footsteps of nearby wanderers, but not see anybody. You might be able to sense their aura or something, but you can never actually interact with them. On top of this, nothing else in these office rooms emanates any sounds. Nothing naturally, that is, because the only sounds you'll hear are the footsteps of yourself, or if you walk past another wanderer who's also in the level, but you can't see them, you still might be able to hear their echoing footsteps. Another interesting thing is that sounds that you create are trapped inside of that room that you create them in. So if you do pass by a wanderer, you will only be able to hear them in that one room. The gravity of level 959 is also a little bit higher than that of our Earths, and the the rest of the backrooms, to be honest. So due to this, you're kind of getting pulled down to the floor a little bit more by about 30%, which means you might have height loss and increased blood pressure and that sort of thing as well. It's literally as if level 959 is trying to pull you to its center. It already pulled you from wherever you were in the backrooms to come here, and now it's trying to consume you into its very fibers. Now, as you're hearing this explanation of the level, 959, you're probably thinking that it sort of reminds you of another level you've heard about, if you're terminally online like we all are. And the level you're probably thinking of is that it sounds similar to the game level, which I've made multiple videos on in the past. You can go check them out. But both of these levels seem to hate humanity, and they kind of force wanderers to compete in a game against death, whereas the actual game level makes you do these different things, these different tasks, and kind of forces you to stay inside of itself. This place, level 959, is the game, and it forces you to stay inside of itself either way. Now, this is a quote at the bottom of the levels page that I think talks about it pretty well. Quote, "It actually reminds me of something back on my time on Earth. Since the internet was just starting to get big before I fell in, there were tons of crazy things on there, basically total anarchy. Really, because it was a whole new frontier to everyone, there was this one game that drew my attention, the game. The game was basically some weird sort of mind thing, where if you acknowledge its existence, you lose. And then once you lose, you have to announce it or whatever. So then when I found out about level 959's whole info hazardous property, I immediately remembered the whole thing with the game. In fact, the more I think about it, level 959 and the game are so eerily similar. It's kind of disturbing to think that Backrooms took the whole concept of it to make this hell of a level. So now, while I'm writing this on a sheet of paper, I want any potential person who sees this to know. Level 959 is the game, and you just lost." And that last sentence really nails it home. This level is a game, and unfortunately, you didn't ask to play in the game, and you lost anyways. Nice. So to avoid this level, you can never learn about it, or hear about it, or read about it, or anything, or even look at the entrances on the levels page, because you're gonna get sent to it, which unfortunately, the entirety of you watching this could, have the chance, if this was real, to get sent there, so sorry. And more importantly, if you do get sent, you can exit the level, but it is exceedingly rare. You can no-clip through a piano, if you find one, or you can try to randomly no-clip through any surface in the level, and it just might send you out, maybe. I don't know. Level 959 is genuinely one of the worst places to exist. It reminds me of level You Cheated, but it's not because of an entity being bad here like those places. It's just because there is no reason for this level to want to consume humans like it does. It's evil just because it is evil, and that's it. It's a cognito hazard, and just simply by knowing about it makes it addictive, like a drug. It's intoxicating, but it still makes no sense that the level wants to eat and consume and cause people to come here. It just does, and it's a perfect metaphor for the entire backrooms. I don't know, maybe I'm losing my mind. If you made it this far, thank you so much for watching. Check out the description for all my links to all my social medias. Make sure you subscribe and leave a like on the channel. That way you're notified whenever I upload a new video on here, whatever it may be. Thank you for everything you do. With all that said, I will see you wherever I see you in the next video. Bye.